Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's Riverside Weekly Podcast. Man, we are on our 5th season, ready to go into our 6th season. So glad you can join us. Appreciate you guys watching, man. Thank you guys for everyone who supported our last month of October Breast Cancer Awareness Survivors Month, or whatever it's called. I have no idea what it's called anyway, but appreciate you guys supporting.
You don't keep up with anything?
Don't keep up hardly nothing. People have to remind me of stuff. So. Anyway, man, we are here. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, sharing, and tuning in every week.
Coming to you from 125 Carver in Waco, Texas, it's the Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions are fun, real, and at times very uncomfortable. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to like and subscribe, and please ring the bell. Now, here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Happy fall, y'all. It's Wednesday.
Oh, y'all.
Hey, that's from Texas. That's what Texans say. Happy fall, y'all.
That sounds so Texan.
It is. It is. Shout
I
out
use
to the
guys. Hey, you guys.
Yeah, but we're not from the north. You can't say
I
that.
still use guys
We're in the
all
south.
the time. Hey, guys.
No, hey,
You
you
all-
guys.
Y'all just sound so, it sounds Texan.
Y'all.
Y'all
It's
sounds
you
country.
all. Y'all. You all. I can say
It
you
reminds
all.
me of the Sesame Street.
I don't know any word that goes.
I don't either. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Like,
good job. Good job. Sorry.
smart. But.
Stop. Anyway, welcome to fall. It is the second day of fall. November is also, tell me what it's called. National Indigenous People Month. So I'm so glad to be here in November. Yay! Celebrating our heritage. As you can see, my gray just really comes out. It's my high cheekbones and the gray hair for me. Oh, just kidding.
It's long hair for me. I
You,
guess.
you like the long hair? I was going to say, isn't my hair getting really long? It's been so short for so long, and now it finally grew out.
Finally got mine tamed a little bit.
I'm so glad. Anyway, welcome everybody. I totally lost the story I was going to read, and I'm very sad about it. Do you remember what I was going to talk about?
Not even a clue.
Well, so I guess we weren't supposed to talk about that. But we were talking about something because we said, yes, remember? And you go, that names a lot of people that I know. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Yes.
I remember the conversation,
Okay.
yes. I don't remember what we were talking about. Why are you upset with me? You can't even remember.
Because it was so good.
But you can't remember. Why
I
can't you
know.
remember?
I know.
I'm done with
Here.
you.
I don't know. It was so good, but clearly it was for someone, whoever is watching, wasn't supposed to hear it because it was about them. So, well, I guess we'll skip to the next thing. How was everybody's Halloween? Oh, sorry. All Hallows Eve. But we did talk about it being a pagan celebration, and we had a whole controversy going on this weekend, you guys. So I think we'll just hash that out right here real quick. And we'll probably lose about 5 people because they don't want to hear about Halloween.
Well, we only got 5 people watching.
Well,
I'm joking.
where's that at?
No, I'm
Do we
joking.
have that one?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Ta-da! No. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so basically, I don't know what the other one was talking about, but basically you like to pick fights, and my husband likes to spit the truth, and people don't like the truth. You know, that whole scene, you can't handle the truth, you know, type thing. And with Jack Nicholson, right? And he was talking because people were bashing Halloween celebrations and harvest festivals, and you slap your name on it, whatever you call it, is what they were saying. And who were they? But people were saying that you can slap a name on it, you can do whatever it is, but it's still you're celebrating the devil's holiday. I just want everyone here to know that I was raised that way. And now that I'm older, I'm not forced to believe something that I was told. And I hate to say it that way, but that's really what happens.
I guess this is your turn. Go ahead.
I don't know.
I went off last week, so it's your turn.
Okay, so I will say that there are things that we are told and things that we are fed.
And things that we do.
Oh yeah, but we talked about this before, traditions and things like that you're doing in your family and your households. Hey, this is great because I did a wedding, and they're coming up with new traditions for their marriage and things. They're not the same as when their mother and father got married, type thing. So, but saying all that to say that I was told that I was celebrating the devil's holiday and that, if you did Halloween, you were a part of that and those kinds of things. And Mom and Dad, let me put that out there. That was not you that told me that, so calm down.
Well, maybe it might have been.
It somewhat, but it also came from the pastor, okay? Yeah. No.
Okay.
We weren't at Family Worship Center the whole time, so you can't really say that.
Sorry,
Pastor Darrell.
No, we did harvest festivals there all the time.
That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't him, okay? But growing up that way, we were always told that was the devil's holiday and all that type of thing. But as we began to start our church, and when we were with our church, before we started our church, we did harvest festivals. And, we're reaching the community and trying to reach out to them, showing them about heaven and hell, and showing them with an open hand. What do y'all say in... something about I come to you, I don't know how to do it, whatever,
Martial arts, yes.
Yeah, but what does it say?
It says, I come to you with open hands. I will not fight. But if I do, I will use my fist. I'm in peace. I don't want to fight. But if I do fight,
Okay, yeah,
hands,
Yeah.
I will fight you.
I love
Okay.
it. All right, sorry, that was a throat check. Anyway, when you jab somebody. But saying all that to say that I think that a lot of people were in an uproar about it being a pagan holiday. So I want you to, yes, because I don't need anybody looking bad about me. They can look bad about you, but not me.
They already hate you.
Yeah, not me. I mean, it's all on you. So, let's get into this real quick because I don't want it to be a long podcast because we've already lost half of the people as soon as we said Halloween, and the rest we lost at pagan. So I want you to explain to them about what it is that you said, and you can pull in your post if you want or whatever, because we're just trying to get some truth out there. All right, so here we go. And you're on.
So I guess we'll start with Easter.
Okay.
So if you go back and you look at Easter, a lot of...
Why can't you just talk about the post you posted?
Well, read the post I
It's
posted.
so much easier. I'm not on Facebook. I can't do that. Yes, by the way, I'm not. So don't come looking for me. Tell us.
Well, I think my situation, I guess you would say, no, my pet peeve, if you will, I'll let you read it.
Okay.
My pet peeve that I have, and it seems to be a growing, I don't know. The most,
Say, I came to pick a fight.
No, that's what you always say.
I know.
Why are you always picking a fight?
This is you.
Stirring the pot. People that know me close are like, man, he just be stirring the pot. Well, it's not that I stir the pot. I'm trying to pick a fight. But I think that when we look at the world as believers, and from a believer's perspective, we see it in one perspective because of what we've been told, but what we can be taught, what traditions and things that we've done. Now, I'm all for traditions, and I'm all for being religious. but it needs to be it needs to be scriptural. There needs to be some
I agree.
scriptural support and background for that.
Okay.
But I think a lot of times when we try to reach people and we try to reach the community or reach people that we love, care about, quote unquote, the lost, we do a really bad job at it because we don't do anything intentional. We just repeat what we've been told. And I'm a firm believer that everything that God has done up to this point has been on purpose. He's intentional God. He does things for a purpose, on purpose, and with purpose. But we as believers and we as children of God, we just do what we want to do and then say, oh, well, God was in that. But I believe that if we're children of God and we're believers, then we should be doing things on purpose. And I believe a lot of times we say things from a narrow-minded perspective,
Yes.
that we don't really understand what we're saying or what we're doing, and because we don't ever look or research for ourselves, we literally find ourselves saying things that don't make any sense or don't have any bearing or biblical bearing altogether. So, saying all that to say that I actually read this on a post. Someone said, we tend to as believers and church leaders, we tend to cherry pick what we want to emphasize that's evil instead of looking at the whole picture. And I have to agree with that statement because I feel like that's what we've done. That was my biggest thing when I got saved. When I got saved, that's the problem that I had with the Catholic Church. Like I didn't understand things. But the more that I read my Bible, the more that I studied, the more that I sat and I learned from theologians, from teachers, from pastors. What I learned is that a lot of what the Catholic Church does is very, very scriptural. A lot of the things, not everything, but a lot of things that they do. But the problem that I find with the Catholic Church is they don't ever. I was never taught that. I don't think that they teach those things unless you just go teach. It's not like, hey, we're going to teach you why we do these things and what this means and what that means and what's this purpose and what are all these things symbolize. But when you stand back and you look, man, those things have a lot of biblical, scriptural meaning, and so you have all these people that are anti-Catholic. Well, that's because they do some things that are questionable. However, they do a lot of things that are not questionable.
Right.
And so for me, I just feel like when it comes to Halloween, when it comes to Easter, when it comes to Christmas, we do Easter and Christmas because they're scripturally supported, right? Because it's Jesus was crucified and was resurrection. We call it Resurrection Sunday. Right?
Hashtag
we have Christmas.
Easter.
We have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, right? But we're celebrating things that are really not from a Christian perspective. We've turned them into Christian, and I think
commercialized them.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of times that's what happens.
Okay, so this is the post, and again, you will be offended with this podcast if you do not like Halloween, if you love Christmas, and if you love Easter for the significances that you have given it. And I say that because that is... if you go back and look at it from a theological perspective and you break down all the scriptures and you look at the history behind it, then you'll be like, type thing. So I'm going to do it this way because this was so funny when I read it the first. This is what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, clarify where some of this comes from.
From another post from a pastor.
No, but I'm saying where I'm quoting from.
Oh, Wikipedia.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
But let me finish because I was going to sing for you.
Okay.
Because I just read this and I was like, "Dear Mr. Christian, our time has come, and you know that you're the only one who doesn't know." Okay. Anyway, because you always have lyricosis, so I just thought I'd do it.
Appreciate that. Thanks for bailing me out there.
All right. So, Wikipedia says Halloween or Halloween, you have it both, a contraction of All Hallows Eve or evening, less commonly known as All Halloween or All Hallows Eve or All Saints Eve, is a celebration observed in many countries on the 31st of October, the eve of the Western Christian feast of All Hallows Day. It begins the observance of All Hallows Tide, the time in the liturgical year dedicated to remembering the dead, including saints, which are hallows, martyrs, and all the departed. Let's not speak uneducated, for even Christmas and Easter derive from pagan beliefs. And I think it's interesting because a pastor had come and he actually was posting about it. And he was saying about how, exactly what I said in the beginning, that if you're celebrating those things, that's the devil's holiday. And, and then somebody tried to say something and then he came back and said, ay, pobrecito, yeah. But never gave scripture, verse, any of that for anything, because most people don't know the history behind them.
Behind the holidays.
Yes, behind the holidays. And if you did, you wouldn't be saying that. We just know what we're told and how to go with what they say. Again, who is they? Go ahead.
No, I just got all these things. So I remember posting slightly off topic, but you're just kind of what you're saying. Like we just say things. So I remember several years ago I posted that contrary to popular belief, God even dwells in hell. And see, some of you are making faces right now. And so,
everybody.
When I posted that, I had several believers, I want to say maybe 2 pastors, that actually responded to that. And they were like, this doesn't sound scriptural. And so I gave them the verses. I gave them 4 or 5 verses of where it's clarified. And it was pretty funny because my brother, who's not a believer, jumped on and he was like...
He's actually an atheist.
Jumped on that same feed and was like, wow, it's amazing that they wouldn't understand that. He had that understanding. When I said that, he's like, duh, right? Who's not a believer. So if this is what you believe, then this should be true.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting saying that to say that I think as believers, we need to get better at addressing and communicating the people that we're trying to reach. Because whether we know it or not, everybody's watching what we post. Just because they don't like it, that don't mean they don't see it. Just because they don't comment, that doesn't mean they don't see it. Just because they're not sharing it, that doesn't mean that they're not seeing it. And I think that's where I've kind of come to a head myself, was like, I know that people see what I post, even though they don't like it. But I think the hardest part for us as believers is to understand that we're here to reach the world for Christ. We're here to be the example of who Christ is. And it's not always trying to put our personal convictions and our personal beliefs onto people when it's not scriptural, right? I feel like that's what we tend to do, especially when it comes to the holidays. Like we're real quick to say, don't go trick-or-treating or celebrating on Halloween, right? But when someone brings up Easter, we're real quick to defend it. That's when Jesus Christ is resurrected. You can't have it both ways. Like they're either pagan holidays or they're not pagan holidays. They're either you're looking at it and doing it from a faith perspective and a belief system, or you're not, right? But you can't put that on everybody else. And I think that's where we as a church, we struggle because we get so caught up as believers trying to be holy and trying to reach people that we forget to have the relationship. Like we genuinely forget to have a relationship with the very people that we're trying to reach. I think it's interesting, and pet peeve here, right? Soapbox.
I know, because I was like, you went way over there.
Pet peeve, soapbox, right? We're all excited about Columbus Day, right? You're talking about
Indigenous People Month, y'all.
Y'all, so we get excited. We're taught this Columbus, but from my perspective,
yes, he came over to my family's land and staked his flag right in my front yard.
Yeah, for me,
I found this.
For me, it's interesting. It's interesting that as a believer and as Christ never forced anyone to change their culture. He forced them. I say he forced them. He questioned them and caused them to question their beliefs and to understand who he was as the Son of God, right? What he came to do. And as believers of the disciples, they never went into a culture, they never went into a community, they never went into a society and forced them to change or forced them to believe. But when you look at believers for a long time, that's what they did. They would go and conquer countries and conquer nations and conquer cultures only to force Christianity on them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's not real Christianity. That's not really being a disciple. That's forcing someone to take something that you believe. And I feel like that's where we're at as a culture. Like we've come full circle. Like we're trying to get people to, we're almost like, if you don't do this, then you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you don't serve God, you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm like, you should still be able to have your culture and follow after Christ. And as you get to know Christ, some things of your culture may fall off. They may stop doing, but that's personal conviction. That's personal relationship, right? And not us coming in saying, you got to stop doing this, and you got to stop doing this, and you got to stop doing this. You know, if you go back and you actually read some of the writings, you know, there were pastors in England and Europe where believers would get together and have a beer and discuss scripture and discuss doctrine and discuss the Bible and have theological conversations over a beer, right? And then there's other countries like you're not allowed to drink soda waters because they're bad for you, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that what we've done here in the Western Hemisphere in the United States, we want everybody to have the same Christian experience and the same church experience and the same thought process, that we all have to agree that this is wrong. And there are some things scripturally that you're not supposed to do, like, right? And it's not, well, you know, we say, well, the scripture means different things to different people. Well, I'm sorry. When I read thou shalt not kill, it means thou shalt not kill. Like, I don't get a different interpretation. But I think there are some things that are metaphorically speaking. But I think that our biggest issue when it comes to quote unquote holidays, I think we get hung up on the little things instead of just trying to have a relationship with people, instead of just trying to understand, right? So are there some things in that culture? Are there some things within Halloween that are demonic? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are there some things that are evil? Absolutely. Well, you're supposed to flee the appearance of evil. Well, if you're supposed to flee the appearance of evil, walk away from the Jack-in-the-Box. Walk away from, because you're the appearance of evil is gluttony there, brother. Like you push yourself away from overeating. Like, you know, like we that's what I'm saying. We cherry pick what we want to do. Like what do we call, my challenge to you, what does the Bible say about evil? What is evil? What is evil? What does the scripture say about evil? Right? Somebody's like, well, tell us. No, you go look, man. That's the problem that we have in the church today, is that we want the pastors to spoon feed us everything. Man, go, what does the Bible say about evil? What does the Bible call evil? Right? What does the Bible call witchcraft? Right? What does the Bible call demonic? We've labeled these things demonic because we have a fear of something that we don't understand. And a lot of times it's just culture. It's just culture. And it's bled so much into the church that we don't even understand what it means to have a relationship with Christ. We just don't want to do it because my mom was afraid of it. My grandmother was afraid of it and had an experience. So now all of it's evil. Right? And it's like, it's not, you know, like, it's not, right? So some are old wives' tales, some are some spiritual experience. I've had spiritual experiences with demonic, what do you call it? Spirits. Like, I've seen that. I've seen where it looks like it's demonic and it's not, right? So
you can't comb my hair that just because I woke up like that.
I'm just saying, like, can we stop as a church and as church leaders? Can we try and stop over-spiritualizing everything, over-spiritualizing culture, right? Like I think we get hung up on that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rant.
Yeah, you did. Well, now we're back.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, you asked, man.
I know. It was like I didn't know I was going.
See, that's why I don't like. That's why I'm like, man, you don't want to ask me these questions.
I
man.
know. Let me tell you, all I saw was Nacho Libre, where he baptizes Stephen and got out of the water, and I was like, oh.
Hey, I just want to say, I know a crap a load about the gospel.
Do you? Okay. But I think you always, doesn't matter what subject we're talking about, you always bring it back to relationship.
It's relationship.
Always. And I'm like, and we can go, and we're right here.
Well, let me
every
tell you why it always comes back to relationship. The whole reason that Jesus, that God sent Jesus to earth is so that we can have a relationship with the Father, because there was a broken relationship there. And the problem is that we don't understand that.
And so we call it bad.
Yeah, like you can't even get into heaven if you don't have the relationship with the Son. You can't get in the relationship unless you have a relationship with the Son, so that you can have a relationship with the Father. Like Jesus says, like, I don't even know who you are. I did all these things. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought when you think about that.
I know. And I think you said that too, or maybe this is another wives' tale, and we're always talking about, you can't have unforgiveness. That too is a sin, And people are like, well, what is a sin? Well,
so what's the greater sin?
Yeah.
Celebrating Halloween or having unforgiveness? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
No. Why are you making people think? This was supposed to be light-hearted.
I'm lighthearted. I'm just saying,
Anyway,
man. Like, come on.
Never, not you. No, never.
I do enjoy strawberry shake every once in a while.
Do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I smile. I like comedians a lot. I like to laugh.
But you're lighthearted?
Yeah,
Maybe that's why you like to.
I've got a great sense of humor too. I do.
I'm gonna let that.
If you know me, then you're gonna laugh. You have a hard time sitting with me without laughing. You know that.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
She's laughing.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, but I just thought we'd bring that up because clearly whatever we were supposed to talk about was not meant for today, because a lot of you are asking about Halloween and things like that and pagan holidays. And, I didn't even know that because somebody asked me to do a pagan wedding, and I was like, well, I don't know what that is. But I didn't know what it was. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to say 3 Hail Marys and, sprinkle some water on you. And I don't, know.
Those types of weddings, you make sure that you have a rosary, a candle, a lucky's foot,
a lucky rabbit's
foot, some anointing oil, holy water, a horseshoe, and what do you call those, clover? What are they called? The
4-leaf clover?
4-leaf clover? Is that what you have? Yeah, make sure you have all those things and you're good.
Anyway, I don't know. I just thought we'd address it here so that you can quit thinking about it, and you thought you were going to get away with it, but you logged on to this podcast. You stayed here, so you wanted to know the truth. And by golly, you just couldn't handle the truth. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thanks for joining us. It's all fun and games until someone reads the Bible.
For real.
I mean,
someone reads the Bible or gets hurt.
Yeah.
From reading the Bible.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, thanks for subscribing. Make sure you like and hit the bell. And we'll see you next week when we'll have some lighthearted discussions.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.